Communicate 2 Coursebook by Kate Pickering, CD 2. Unit 11, Speaking, Exercise 2.
And with me now is James Murray, author of a new book called Culture in International Business. James, why culture?
Well, cross-cultural communication is really important in the world of business. There are countless stories of people who were on the point of signing a big contract when they ruined everything by committing a social faux pas.
What do you mean?
Well, we Americans tend to be far too informal. It's just not appropriate in other cultures, and we also seem to have a talent for putting our foot in it completely by not observing local customs.
Can you give us some examples?
We tend to come straight to the point, whereas in other cultures you need to show respect and establish a relationship first before you start talking about business. We're also too direct when it comes to asking people about their personal lives. We see this as showing an interest, but to others this can come across as nosy or intrusive.
Now, we all know that greeting people can be complicated. In Britain, many men still aren't too comfortable with the relatively new custom of kissing people on the cheek. And I remember going to France and not knowing how many kisses to give. I looked a right idiot.
Absolutely.
But what about table manners? I understand that's an area with some important cultural differences.
Yes, well, Japan's a good example. There are strict rules on how to behave at table. You should wait to be asked to eat 3 times by your host before starting, and when pouring alcohol, the youngest person should always pour for the others, starting with the most senior, as a sign of respect.
Oh my goodness, this is starting to sound complicated.
Then there are taboos about the body. In Buddhist countries, for example, you should never touch or pass anything over the head of another person, because the head is considered sacred. In Egypt, crossing your legs when sitting is considered an insult. And in Vietnam, you should only shake hands with people of the same sex, as physical contact between men and women in public is considered very rude. And of course, giving a thumbs up is asking for trouble in many countries.
A thumbs up? I thought that was international sign language for good or okay.
Well, I wouldn't risk it in Iran, where it's an obscene gesture.
But is all this important? I mean, surely, if we behave politely, we can't be expected to know all the ins and outs of another culture.
Well, I don't think that's enough. The thing is, if you do something which is a huge insult, people may not stop to think that it could be acceptable in your culture. Imagine you'd invited people to an excellent meal in an expensive restaurant, and at the end, one of your guests burped. You'd probably be horrified. But in many parts of Asia, burping is actually a sign of pleasure. And if you're trying to secure an important contract, your new partner will see it as a sign of your respect and interest if you have taken the trouble to find out the basic do's and don'ts in their culture.
Unit 11, Pronunciation, Exercise A.
Of, were, the, a.
Unit 11, Pronunciation, Exercise B.
There are countless stories of people who were on the point of signing a big contract.
Unit 11, Listening, Exercises 2 and 3.
A new study published today showed that Spain is the second noisiest country in the world after Japan, and that Madrid is one of the world's noisiest capital cities. Worldwide, some 130 million people live in unacceptably noisy environments. Officials from the World Health Organization said that 1 in 4 Spaniards suffers from excessive noise levels. Over 9 million people in Spain have to put up with noise over the European Union's established limit of 65 decibels. In the capital, noise levels were tested at 30 different places around the city. During the day, 95% registered excessive noise levels, and at night, all areas were over the established nighttime limit of 45 decibels. But what is the source of all this noise? About 80% is caused by cars and other vehicles, 10% by planes, 4% by construction and roadworks, and the rest by trains, public places, bars, and so on. And all this noise on the street means that Spanish bars and restaurants are also among the noisiest in the world, something which tourists often find an unpleasant surprise. In Europe as a whole, around 20% of the population, some 80 million people, are exposed to unacceptable levels of noise. Effects on health include loss of hearing, problems with sleeping, physical and mental health problems, as well as a negative effect on the quality of life.
Unit 11, Functional Language, Exercise 2. Dialogue 1.
Right. Okay. Did he really? So, anyway, I'm on the 6 o'clock train. Hang on. Yeah?
Excuse me, could you possibly keep your voice down a bit?
Sorry?
Could you speak a bit more quietly? I'm trying to work.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Just some woman here. Anyway, as I was saying.
Dialogue 2.
Here, let me take those across.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
It doesn't matter.
No, but... Oh, really, I feel so embarrassed. Let me buy you another to replace it.
Oh, I doubt if you could. We've had them for ages.
Oh, that's even worse. Oh, I feel terrible.
Don't be silly. It's only a glass. It's really not that important.
Dialogue 3.
Marina,
Yes?
you know I said the other day that you'd taken my new pen?
Yes, and I got into trouble with Mum and Dad about it.
Yes, well,
What is it?
I just found it behind my desk.
Carl! I told you I hadn't got it, and you just carried on as usual, blaming me.
I know, I'm really sorry. I'll make it up to you.
Oh, that's so typical of you, Carl. Well, you can go and tell Mum and Dad for a start.
Sure.
Unit 11, Pronunciation, Exercise A.
Sorry? Sorry. Sorry.
Unit 11, Pronunciation, Exercise B.
Really? Really? Thanks. Thanks. All right. All right.
Unit 11, Review, Exercise 4. 1.
This is a medical condition which can be caused by being exposed to loud noises.
2.
This is the way you behave and the rules of behaviour during a meal.
3.
This means to make a stupid mistake in a social situation.
4.
If you do this, You tolerate an unpleasant situation.
5.
This is an official maximum amount. For example, the fastest speed you can drive, or the loudest noise you should be exposed to.
Unit 11. Review. Exercise 5. 1. A.
I'm going to school.
B.
Who did you give it to?
2. A.
Where do you live?
B.
What does he do?
3. A.
It's in your bag, not mine.
B.
I gave it to your mother.
4. A.
Are you 17?
B.
They're not coming, but we are.